Hello and welcome to another Laura's Read. I am your host, Aspen Sage. Let's get into it. I hope everybody had a fantastic Father's Day last week. For all those fathers out there, or even mothers who are trying to be fathers, uncles that are stepping up as fathers, best friends, whatever the case, I hope it was a great day. I hope you had a fantastic weekend and a more wonderful week. I know I've been pretty busy. I planned some nice stuff for my other half. And, just school and everything else and creating new things. Like currently I have input on my website, Thistle and Stones, is 3D printed dream catchers. My correction, not dream catchers, sun catchers. So it's a clear background with a picture on it, so you can put it by your window, maybe in your study, greenhouse, whatever you want. But right now, currently I have 4 made, and I'm hoping to make more in the future. I just have to come up with some ideas. Although I think some book ones would be cute, or little libraries, maybe a little book dragon, or maybe a stack of books in a coffee cup, or even some coffee ones would be nice for the kitchen. I'm not quite sure. There's so many I can make, but they're 8" by 8", and they hang in front of the window. I find them cute. I do want to do the same thing I do to make the sun catchers and make them into bookmarks, because I think they'd be really cute bookmarks. I want to look at more of the 3D filament, see if I can find more clear, sparkling ones, maybe. Something different. Make them look like little glass windows kind of thing. I think it'd be really nice. But with that being said, I have been working on book number 3 of my Celestial Demigod series, what involves our pirate Celestial, or our water Celestial Pisces, and his guardian Nova. Nova is a banshee. I know it's weird to think, but there is a reason for the story. I will go into depth, but first let's get into the book review. So, I have been reading another book. I am not done with it, but I will go over that too. But right now, the book I have listened to was another one of The Court and Thorns of Roses by Sarah J. Maas. This is book number 4, and it's the one where it's more around the winter solstice. I do like this. So it's A Court of Frost and Starlight. It is not a very long book. What I do appreciate, I kind of like the fluctuation in it. Where they're celebrating the winter solstice, as somebody who does do the solstice, as I am recording during Lila, so the summer solstice, the longest day of the year and stuff, you gotta make your cakes and stuff. You gotta make the honey cakes. But regardless, I love it how they celebrate, and this book has definitely done different. This one involves more of the character's point of view. It is just not Feyre. So there's Feyre, there's Rhysand, there's Cassian, there's Mor, there's Azriel point of view, there's even a Nesta point of view. And I love still the support that Rhysand and has for Feyre. Also in this book too, you get a little bit more of Tamlin. I kind of feel bad now for Tamlin, but I think there's a reason for his downfall a little bit. But Tamlin has basically become a shell of a man. He has no court. His manor is in ruins. He's in ruins. He can't seem to function. And Rhysand is the one that keeps coming to him and telling him he kind of brought it on himself. And of course, everybody still thinks Rhysand is a traitor for what he did with Amarantha. But I love the family dynamics in this book between Rhysand's high court and Feyre's high court now. But there's also more about Feyre's artworks, how she's walking through town, or Valaris. By the way, I love Valaris. I think that'd be like the perfect home. Just so many artistic stuff and people living their lives and just mountains and stars, and I love that kind of stuff. I would live there if I could. And they even have farms, so it's even better, especially somebody like me who likes my agricultural stuff. I love the fact that there's farming. But, oh yeah, and there's Amren. Don't forget, Miss, we still don't know what she is, but she's now High Fae, Amren. And of course, Elaine. And you can definitely see the dynamics between Elaine and Azriel. And I have a theory, by listening through this book of how he cares tenderly for her, I feel like they're kind of in the same boat. But Azrael is locked away, and he is obviously consumed by the shadows, so he's a shadow singer. He is more mysterious and stuff. I also feel like this is kind of like a little bit of Elaine. Yeah, she was tended to, she's loved upon by her sister Nesta, and of course Feyre, but Nesta more guards her, and how she was always her father's favorite, and she's gardening and stuff. I feel like she may have been sheltered. So obviously her being sheltered like this kind of gives you the same effect that of Azrael's kind of abandonment. So I feel like that's why also Azrael is more pulled to Elaine, is because they kind of have this underlying like connection. It's kind of like how I feel like Cassie and Nesta kind of go together, because they're both like trying to strive to show that they can do better. So it's back and forth. Either way, I think that they would make a good couple, even though they banter a lot. So obviously, I love this book. Like I said, it's a lot about the solstice, a lot about Feyre coming back out of her shell and opening a paint school. It's also a lot about Nesta, how Nesta's been closing herself off, and Feyre and Elaine are trying to drag her back in. Cassian obviously still trying to win over Nesta. Azrael's silent thing, and also Lucian being Elaine's mate, and how Azrael is not too keen on it. But it's also Rhysand trying to get things back into order. He's trying to help and keep balance between all the courts still, and he's trying to make everything better. But he's also still secretly providing friendship to Tamlin, where everybody else kind of pushed him away. So there's definitely a good stories, and there's many hidden things. I did see somebody else's podcast saying something about how they think Rhysand's sister was actually Tamlin's mate. Or just, I don't feel like Tamlin has met his mate yet. But there's different, I guess, ideas floating around. I feel like this is all going to come to a head eventually. I did just see something about her writing a 6th book to go with the Thorns of Roses. So I'm excited about that, but I still have the last one to read. It's book number 5. But regardless, I definitely still say pick up the Court of Thorns of Roses series if you haven't already. It's not, in my opinion, that overrated, as some people are like, oh, it's so popular. But it's really not. Like, it is, but it's not. Like, I love it. I love it. It's simple. It's a beautiful story. It's not too overbearing. It's not like the Twilight series. It's not like, the weird other series out there. It kind of gives me the Septimus Heap series kind of bit. I love that. A little bit of the Harry Potter, just without the whole wizardry thing. So, and another point that somebody made that I saw is people forgot about the wolf that Feyre killed in the first book. But Feyre never did because of her ice wolves. So she honors Andres, who was killed by her. So that's also a sweet thought too. But I love the series. I definitely say pick it up. Another thing is with this book, it is short, so it's not. So you finished it fairly quickly. So right now I'm just waiting on the last one. I definitely love this book. Like I said, it's more about Feyre getting back into her art. Rhysand actually pulling out olive branches kind of more, and just a little bit of the characters like silent insight during the winter solstice. So it was very, very nice. I loved it. It was definitely a nice little touch, nice little side story, basically. So with that being said, that is an awesome. There is still much spice. It's still on the lower half. It's not very spicy for me, so I'd give it a 2.53. And of course, I give it a 5-star because it is such a fantastic book to the series. But with that, the book I have been reading after I read that one or listened to it because it was an audiobook, was The Shot in the Dark. So A Shot in the Dark is actually kind of a really cool concept. I'm still questioning things, how they're going. I'm only 50% of the way through, but I love the author. I found this book on Instagram when I saw the authors say it's like supernatural. I am a big supernatural fan. I am a Dean Winchester fan through and through. But the main character, the male main character, John, is actually like Dean Winchester. So I do like that. But what also makes me go, oh my goodness, is the female main character is a fairy. And her name is Sylvia. Sylvia kind of reminds me of Ferngully. Now, I grew up with Ferngully. I understand it. I love Batty. That was one of my favorite characters. I watched that movie so much as a child, and now seeing it come to life as something else is awesome to me. So Shot in the Dark is basically a paranormal hunting human kind of urban fantasy. So it's a lot of her running, being like, wait, this is a thing, humans do this, humans are monsters, blah, blah, blah. Why John and Cliff, who are the hunters, the human hunters, have never seen a fairy before. They've seen ghosts, they've seen werewolves, vampires, everything in between. So when they catch Sylvia, they're quite taken by her. And they just don't know what to think because they've never seen a fairy, they've never encountered one at all, they've never even heard of it. So they're trying to learn from her. But there's also a battle going on with weredogs, so animals that were turned by a werewolf, and basically these murders that are unsolved. So Sylvia has come to try to help them with this werewolf situation so far. But with her doing so, John gets bit by one of the weredogs. He thinks he's going to get turned. Sylvia ends up saving him by using some ancient magic she didn't know about. And the fairies, when she returns home, they find out that she's been in contact with humans, she saved one, and now she's got this mark of a traitor. And now they don't know what to exactly do about it. So she's also determined to be this free spirit. She doesn't want to be stuck in the village, but she misses her village at the same time. But from the book so far, John and Sylvia kind of have this weird relationship going on. She is taken by him. She thinks he's like a warrior, but she's also very witty and bantering with him, unlike Cliff, who she's always snarky with. So, and John is very he's like, I've never seen a pretty supernatural. I've never met a more intelligent one. And he's like, he thinks that she is the absolutely gorgeous. So far, I'm wondering what's going to happen. I'm wondering if this is going to she's going to turn human kind of thing going on, if that relationship's going to happen, or is it going to be like a Ferngully thing where John gets shrunk down? So I'm back and forth. And this man is completely smitten with her to the point where one of her ex-lovers comes at John and he's like, what are you doing to her? Where are you taking her? She doesn't belong to you, release her. And John's like, I'm here to protect her. And are you the one to mark her? And he's like, because basically, even though the size difference and the whole relationship difference, when he asked what happened to her face, who did that to you? It was very much the dominant alpha male thing, who hurt my girl kind of thing. So I love that. It is a good book so far. I love it. It's very, like I said, urbanly, a lot of mystery, kind of Scooby-Doo gang kind of thing. But like I said, if you've seen this Supernatural, you understand the whole hunter werewolf, paranormal thing. So that's nice. And like I said, if you know the movie Ferngully, you understand the whole idea of the protectors of the forest. Everybody has their own ability. Considering that obviously he's a full-grown man and she's the size of a field mouse kind of thing. So he laughs because sometimes she just flutters around on her wings and he's like, can you just sit still? but yet she has the ability of ice. So he's like, don't stab me. Like they saw her stab like one of these were dogs that was attacking with like razor sharp icicles. So they're like, oh dear, so much for you being powerless, because in the beginning she tried to show them like, I'm not powerless. So far, as the book stands, at 50% me reading, I give it a 5-star so far. Spice level, there is none. Other than the witty flirting back and forth and them talking, well, I can't say there's not. There's a beginning part where Sylvia and Damien, who's her lover, were together for a little bit. But other than that, it's not very spicy. On a different scale of spice, I have also been starting to listen to the audiobook Caught Up. What is the second book or a spin-off book of Light Out? This book is beautifully done. Like, it is beautiful, spicy. It involves Junior, or Nico, and a girl named Lauren. I'm going to listen to the whole book before I give anything away, because I know it just came out on the shelves, and it's definitely beautifully done. I love it. I love everything about it. I love the narrators, Teddy Hamilton and the other woman that does it. I can't remember her name. And there's a third narrator. So I love also how this one's more modern day too. These guys do such a beautiful narrating job. Even the lady that does, I wish I always remember names. I only remember certain names because of things that it reminds me of. But the lady that does even the narrating for the Court of Thorns and Roses is always so beautifully done. I love narrators who know how to hit their mark and how to do their voice and stuff. But with that being said, I will give you guys a review on Caught Up and when I get done at Shot in the Dark. But right now, this review was about the Frost and Starlight. So, the winter solstice at the Night Court. Again, every author out there has a story to tell. And even if the writing is not what you expect, doesn't mean the story's not good. I know I have struggles where people are like, oh, your stories kind of don't make sense. I love my stories. I'm not afraid to know that I do have sometimes get too excited and I jump ahead. My brain suffers from the ability of thinking too fast before I can type so fast. I am, like I said, working on my third book of my Celestial and Demigod series. And I am getting to the tail end of it. So it kind of makes me go, oh, I don't want it to end. How can I make the story better? But at the same time, I have to be patient. Well, I love my stories. I think my stories, my character depths are good. Others might disagree, but everybody has their own thoughts and process. I know, like I said, I get so excited about my books, and then I'm like, I'm an artist at heart anyway. I do enjoy drawing and coloring and stuff like that, and I always criticize my own work. I do exactly the same thing with my writing. I go, what did I just write? Or I'll read it over and I go, that has nothing to do with the story, and I have to change it up. But I love my books, and I hope once they get out and about and people enjoy them also and get them in their hands, they get to read them. But thank you everybody for listening in to another Glorious Read. I hope to catch you on the next episode. Maybe go buy a new book, go get caught up, go get the Court of Thorns and Roses, go get Shot in the Dark. Kindles are amazing. Paperbacks are even better. Hardcovers for those trophy collectors. I understand, but I'm going to go create. I'm going to go write. I hope everybody has a fantastic weekend, and thank you for listening in, and catch you on the next one. Bye-bye.